door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow it if I can. It's more Gandalf or like what? Father Christmas. Anyway, hey people, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank for the round of comic chat. And got my hair done. What do you think? You like it? Think it brings out my eyes? Anyway, so we've got 3 books today. One more of a Halloween sort of feel to it. So let's get into it with Batman Generation Joker. So this is the final conclusion of this story, and honestly, no, we could do without it, honestly. So anyway, if you recall, when we last left off with this little story, we saw the great sin of Jack Napier, which was in his attempts to sort of bring people back from the dead or preserve life. He created a machine and he put Harvey Dent in it, because no matter what happens, no matter what the continuity, it sucks to be Harvey Dent. Alright? Even when Harvey gets better, it sucks to be him. Oddly enough, he does not get better here, but the whole point is, like, this is it. This is Harvey's life. And what's interesting is, despite Harvey being in there, we will not hear anything from him this entire story. So anyway, as we go through this little adventure here, Jack has existential crisis. Riot's like, I gotta get to that machine to save Ivy. Ivy's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it, Ivy. Don't do it right. And Riot's like, no, I'll save you. Like, this isn't what I want. And whatever. So we go from there. Jackie and Bryce, try to snap Jack out of his little stupor. Like, look, I get it. You did a messed up thing. But to be fair, when you were the Joker, you did a lot more messed up stuff. So how about we put on our big boy panties and we fix this? Huh? So they go in. Jack tries to get into the machine. Riot comes in like, no, don't think so. You're like, yeah, I got it. And then what happens? Harley comes in for the save. Yeah, like, you know what? I should have known you'd do something like that. For the sole fact that I would totally do it to save Joker. Or Jack. Whichever one. Depending on my mood. Or the continuity. So, they go in, they try to figure out what to do. And Harley's like, okay, so I'll deal with Riot and I guess the murder machine, because I'm that kind of mom. And you guys find a way to hack the machine and get this all fixed. Sound good? Sound good. Alright, so they all go through, and then we get this weird sort of final revelation as to why Bryce has been kind of... What's the word? A fool of a took! And it turns out Bryce has been looking up on the condition of Jack Napier that led to him being the Joker. And one thing he points out is that, hey, there were no real symptoms. He just sort of gradually happened. And he pointed out that, hey, when Jack was his age, he was bright, quiet, a good kid, and then it happened. So Bryce has been sort of, I guess, trying to discover who he is, or trying to see if there's something beyond his dad's condition, or is just like foregone conclusion. So he goes in like, yep, I gotta find a way to make this all work. So he goes in, and Bryce was like, no, I'll sacrifice myself. I'm a better climber than you, Bryce, Jackie. Goes in, puts the switch in. There we go. Hey, look, there's Two-Face. There's Two-Face. Yeah, that's it. He gets to scream before he goes off. And Bryce falls, but he's caught because Jack takes over again after some intimidating laughter. And, we all seem to be good, but Jack seems to be damaged. Like, this is it, guys. This is it. I'm going to fade now. Look after your siblings. Harley, I loved you. Jackie, Bryce. This adventure did not go anywhere near the way I planned because you're both disrespectful little brats. Which, to be fair, as the parents of Joker and Harley Quinn, we should have expected that. But it's like, I'll be going now. Batman comes in like, yeah, so we're done here. He comes in, flips a switch like, okay, so I have put him in the Justice League Watchtower, or just the Watchtower database. So he's going to be helping me, because it's the best of both worlds. So he doesn't get to go away, and he gets to actually do some good. Now, we're all good. We're all basking in how great I am as Batman. By the way, don't be Batman. And Jack and I have to go because we're not supposed to be here. So out, remember, lie to the police. So, we have a nice little moment with Jack saying goodbye to Jackie and Bryce. Like, hey, I love you guys. And by the way, at that old tower, there was $5 million in there. So, yeah, yeah. Cartman said $10,000 cash. I'll see that and raise it to $5 million. Suck it. I'm now the best dad. So it goes off. Before he goes, he says, hey, right. So I realized something's wrong with Ivy. So that machine that I made, super radioactive. And you've been hanging Ivy around here? Yeah, yeah. So that's what's killing her. Get her away from here, and she should be fine. All right? Who'd have thought radiation would kill you? There were no signs at all. So anyway, as Harley lies to Agent Prince, Jack and Bryce sort of realize, like, hey, this is what's going on. Well, you know what? We haven't really been siblings, copacetically speaking. So you know what? From now on, you and me, Jackie, you and me, Bryce, hug it out. La la la. It's all sweet, isn't it? Then we cut to whatever the epilogue, and we see Alan, Stewart, and Prince talking about, hey, this other thing they've acquired, and whether or not this was supposed to be a big secret to be kept from Batman and by default Jack Napier. And the question is like, what's he gonna do when he finds out? Like, I don't care. If you got any problems, just tell him to come to me, Director Luthor. Huh? Tell me, friend, when did Lex the Bold abandon reason for madness? And that's how the comic ends. So that is Generation Joker. This is presumably the last, well, one of the last stories going on in Sean Gordon Murphy's Batverse. He said he doesn't really have any real plans to come back anytime soon, or at least within the next year at least, because he is working on a Zorro comic, and that looks really fun because Sean Gordon Murphy's art is always great. So yeah, this story in itself, though, I think the reveal about Bryce's problem should have come earlier. Like, we should know, and everyone else shouldn't know. All right, we know that this is what's been bothering Bryce. He's seen what his dad became. He knows the stories. He's done the research, and he's like, is this going to be me? Is it a foregone conclusion? All right, because I don't think they ever really reveal what Jack has. All right, so the idea that Bryce could be worried about that, and Jack is thinking that, everyone thinks I'm as bad as the Joker, so I might as well be as bad as the Joker, and then realizing she's not as bad as the Joker is a fun little story. And everyone sort of guesses what possibly happened. And we're like, well, Jackie is the red herring. Bryce is actually a little psycho. None of that happened, so points to that. I think a big problem is, like any of these stories, whichever characters you're invested in, if they don't get the attention, you just don't feel it. And for me, it was always going to be Bruce and Harleen. Like, that to me is just like, that's just, how do you make the heart? There we go. Love, there we go. That to me is like my favorite part about this. And that really didn't go anywhere. So, yeah, they had a nice little kiss, but that was it. Overall, I would say this is personally my least favorite of the Sean Gordon Murphy verse. Right there with Curse of the White Knight. Just wasn't really feeling that one. And the original's still great. Beyond White Knight was alright, but the Harleen one and the main one are still, I think, the best ones. So next, special. The Gargoyles Halloween special. Yes, for some reason they decided to stop the momentum of the trial of the century to talk about Halloween. It's a thing. Everyone does it. And honestly, this was fun. We get to spend time with a gargoyle we don't spend a lot of time with, Nashville, who is the son of Brooklyn and Katana. So, yeah, there's that. So, our story takes place Halloween night. Nash is going trick-or-treating for the first time, and he's super excited. His mom isn't like, do you? You know that there's like quarrymen. You shouldn't go. Brooklyn, however, is like, nah, I went out to Halloween one time, and it was just fun. It was fun, all right? Yeah, there was like some sort of werefox out there, but you know what? Goliath took care of that, so that was fun. So they go out, they have their fun, and meanwhile, the quarrymen are all sort of in their feelings. Casper's like, them gargoyles have made things worse. How, my lord? Well, people like them, and I don't like that. So now we're going in, lock and load, and we're going to just, mess some people up. Mostly gargoyles. It turns out, though, we see the Halloween presentation, and what's interesting about it is we see a lot of gargoyle costumes, which means the gargoyles are sort of being accepted and embraced by the popular culture. the quarrymen are really just a stupid minority, as is most hate groups. They don't represent an overwhelming majority, or any sort of significant average for the most part. But anyway, as we go through, sounds like a crazy old man now. Just when you can see the lips, that you know they're wild. But anyway, so Nashville goes out there as a pirate, gargoyle pirate, and he meets 3 other kids coming in who also are coming in as gargoyles. We got who calls themselves as Pandora, Crag, and Trouble. All right, not the worst gargoyle names. Mentor. He calls Nashville, says, like, you can call me Nash, but the G is silent. And Nashville, being Nashville, says, like, most gargoyles didn't have names, but yeah, I guess you guys do what you want to do. It's your costume, it's your OC. And Nashville's like, yeah, I'm a pirate, I'm Blackbeard. Turns out Blackbeard was a gargoyle. So yeah, that's cool actually. I really do like that. I'd like to read that story. Meanwhile, Goliath is apparently going to be the what's the one word you use here? Like the person of interest at the big Halloween block party. As a matter of fact, he's all over the news. Also, Xanatos' probation is over. I keep forgetting what he did. It's been a while. Old man lip movements. Hudson's making a joke about it as is. Goliath's like, yeah, it's just for the best. For security reasons. Because, quarrymen. So, as Nash and his friends are having fun, they're met by quarrymen like, what do you mean you like gargoyles? They're dangerous, right? They're going to try to replace us, even though there's only like 7 of them in the entire city. They're going to replace us. They're going to start breeding. Like, what? I'm pretty sure Angela and Broad are going to have, what, 2 eggs at most? Alright, whatever. As they walk off, it turns out Nashville has found out that Bronx and Foo Dog have been guarding him. And he's like, okay, fine, I know Mom did it, but stay out of sight. Don't embarrass me. Or reveal that I'm a gargoyle. In that order. I'm like a better version of Spider-Man and Far From Home. Just, it's important to me, but nothing else is going on, so I don't feel like a terrible person. So anyway, going through on the subway. Nash never been on the subway, so I was excited. Bronx and Foo Dog have the time of their life. Like, on the subway. I've never been on the subway, so, it's a thing. So, we go down the main street. Everything's fine. One of the rookies jinxes him, like, everything's going fine. And they look at him like, you just made sure that something's going to happen. We all hate you now. And as someone who's worked retail, you never speak of it. That, hey, everything's going well. You never say it. You just enjoy it. You never challenge the world, because the world will win. So, anyway, they're all in the gazebo. They're having fun. And then they're met by a witch. Not an actual witch this time. He says his name is Johnny Careless. And what's interesting is Careless was in, I think it was the first season of Gargoyles. It was really great, really great. The golden era of Gargoyles. Although I would say the Avalon story is like peak Gargoyles, but whatever. Careless, I didn't realize you were an actual gargoyle. You got a really cool costume. And, I just want to say that I like you guys. You're cool. You saved us from that werewolf. And God's like, it was a werefox, actually. It was something involving Xanatos, the Eye of Odin. And turns out he actually does love something. It was a very weird story. Also, Elisa was just smoking as Belle. And she's come in to sort of, I guess it's Belle again? Maybe? Or Alice? Ooh. Dorothy, maybe Wendy. I don't know. It's like the problem is blue dress in fantasies. Like everyone at some point has a blue dress. Even Ariel had a blue dress. Aurora had a blue dress. Cinderella had a sort of bluish dress. Whatever. So anyway, they go in. Elisa wants to dance with Goliath again, and Goliath is always ready to cut a rug with Elisa Maza, like any good sane person is. All right, and like, oh, they make such a great couple, and everyone else is like, yeah, it's like their thing, like their goals, their end game. The rest of us, our relationships might not happen, but we will ride if those two don't work out. Careless, meanwhile, goes like, hey, Lex, or like whatever gargoyle, would you like to dance? And he's like, I'm a gargoyle, right? Like, I'm actually a guy in a witch costume, right? He's like, well, okay. I'm also seeing someone like, dude, I'm just asking to dance, all right? There's no big commitment here, and whatever. So everyone dances, everyone's having fun. There we go, I'm like a crazy Alan Moore. Crazy Alan Moore. Feels like a contradiction. But anyway, the Quarrymen are ready, like, yeah, so we're going to start some trouble here, all right? We're going to cause some problems. And Nash and his friends like, yeah, I done had enough. He goes in like, yep, time to reveal that I am a gargoyle with my gargadogs, or dog gargoyles, or mutated gargoyle. Like, I don't quite know. Like, they're coded as dogs. So anyway, they go through, they fight. Like, yeah, we're all just trying to have fun, and here you are coming in, being problems, and they're like, whoa, they're fighting back? Nah, man, no, I didn't come here to have a fair fight with anybody. I came here to cause problems and make myself feel bigger. All right, fighting back. What's all this? Whose idea was this? It was yours, wasn't it? All right. So they go off to be cowards another day. But then come the hardcore quarrymen. We got mallets. Let's go in. Yeah. But luckily, Nash was like, nah, I've been trained to fight. My mom's a Japanese gargoyle. Yeah, so I know how to fight. Like, you know what? I know about you, Quarrymen, because I'm a time traveler. And guess what? You guys suck. In the future, no one cares about the Quarrymen. I'm like, as it should be. As it should be. So scared off. One of the kids gets their cousin, who's with the Gargoyle Task Force. They go in. Elisa arrests Castaway for, being Castaway and causing problems. And everything is copacetic. Everything's great. As a matter of fact, even Nashville's friends are like, dude, you're an actual gargoyle? That's so cool. I have a question. Is, like, us dressing up as a gargoyle, like, is that, like, cultural appropriation? Like, I'm just wondering. All right. I'm also trying to wonder how this beard works. And that's how the comic ends. Ultimately, for skipping the trial of the century, or at least the trial of the 90s, this is all right. Because I didn't know a lot about Nashville, I found this story to be pretty fun. It's pretty informative in some ways. Like, Nashville's optimistic kid who is sort of new to the present day world. Like, to be fair, holidays are different decade to decade, if not century to century. You go through, like, Christmas in the 1930s to Christmas in the 1990s. Those are two very different things. All right, let alone depending on the country. So to see him go through different versions of Halloween, I think is kind of interesting. Granted, we didn't really do that, but to see him be interested in that was cool. This sort of spiritual successor to the Halloween episode of the original Gargoyles cartoon, I thought was really great too. We have Goliath and Elisa dancing. We have the same witch guy who's like, hey, I like your costumes. And then finding out, hey, you're actual gargoyles. That's cool too. I found it was great. The Quarrymen being this sort of joke, as you have Quarrymen who are like, dyed in the wool, this is what I believe and I'll fight for it. Whether you agree with it or not, that is at least means they have principles they'll stand for. These other ones who were just sort of shoot away are really just cowards. They've been fear-mongered to some extent, and they go through. Like, there's a whole discussion to be had about why people join hate groups. And some of them do feel sort of weak, and they get swept up in the power of it all. But that's a whole other conversation. You should also read Captain America's Steve Rogers for that one. But anyway, Hydra Steve aside, we have one more book left. This is a good story, actually. This is actually a really good story. And points to Greg for doing it again. All right? And finally, for our coup de grace, your friend and mine, Superboy, Man of Tomorrow. So this is the final conclusion to Connor's story, or at least this mini-story, and I'm kind of excited. I think it really did end on a positive note. So anyway, if you recall, Trav has lost his ever-loving mind and has adopted the body of, well, something more akin to what he should have. Remember, Trav is a Daxamite, and whatever the, what was it, the Citadel? Was it the Citadel? I forget. Alright. It's going to keep me awake all night. So anyway, actually, I've been awake all day. I did not go to sleep. So anyway, he is using this sort of new body to sort of work out his revenge. His hatred against the world, against people that mess with him. The Dominators, that's what they're called. And here we are. Connor's like, okay, fine. This is what I gotta do. This is the big fight. Oh, he's like, alright, I'm going. I'm bouncing. Trav's friends can be like, nah, this is our problem. We're fixing it because Trav is crazy. They go in. Trav gives him the business and like, yep, it's almost like you guys aren't title characters. And his other friend goes in like, yep, look at that, non-title characters. Do the share thing. All right, so Connor comes in with a flying kick. All right, goes in, and what really comes in here is sort of the conversation Connor has with himself about why he's doing what he's doing. And really what this is about is the fact that, he's had to come to terms with the fact that he came all the way out here to find out where he belonged, who he was, and really this is it. All right? He wants to save people. He wants help. Wearing that S means you save people. And to save people, that means you have to do the impossible. And Connor is impossible. He shouldn't exist. He is a clone created from the DNA of Lex Luthor and Superman. He is nothing short of an anomaly. He's technically, if you want to get down to semantics, he is not an actual Kryptonian. All right? Now if it's Keenan Kong, we still keep him around. So, I don't really see what the difference is. But anyway, as Trav brings out his Big Bang attack, Connor meets with his TK Kamehameha, and it's a really great scene as Connor embraces the fact this is who he is. Someone who wears that Superman S, and like I said, wearing that S means you make people believe in the impossible. And as the Ninth Doctor said, just this once, everybody lives. Even Trav, and I don't think anyone really cared if Trav lived or died. Maybe his friends. They're like, yeah, we done messed up. So, let's turn ourselves in as soon as the Green Lantern shows up. And, look at that. Look at that. Guy and Kyle, that's not nice. What Green Lantern did Trav kill to warrant this? So, anyway, they all agree, like, yeah, takes the sign cell. This is a whole part of our new sort of lease on life. And that's admitting that we've done some messed up stuff and paying the price for it. So, then Connor goes off like, hey guys, well, I'm off. Some aliens like, hey, who are you? Why'd you do all this? Well, I'm a friend. He gets teleported back to, not the fortress, but the barnyard at the Kent farm. And he comes out and he's greeted by his fake-ass family and Mom and Pa Kent. Yeah, you were all terrible except Mom and Pa Kent. Alright, we do not accept Mom and Pa Kent slander anywhere, alright? So, Clark apologized like, hey man, you were going through some stuff and I don't make any effort to know or understand you at all, so we cool? Connor hugs it out like, yeah man, I know who I am. You're still terrible. To be fair, it's not really Clark's fault so much as it is just DC Comics as a whole. It really felt like they wanted to get rid of Connor, but they didn't quite know how to go through it. Because DC's problem when New 52 was they wanted to have the cake and eat it too. So anyway, they hug it out. They have a great conversation. They give him his own jacket, so he's a part of the team. What do you mean you didn't give him a jacket before? Did no one think? Well, you think Connor would want a jacket to match us? The Superman family. Technically Clark's son. No, really? Yeah, we're just gonna use John. Look, I love John Kent, but it was unfair what happened to Connor. So anyway, they all talking, they're all having fun. Connor's still wearing the wristband. Why? Because, hey, this is what he loves to do. Come in, help out, rough some people up. If you feel alone, feel like an outcast, feel like no one else is there, look up. You might see me. And that's how the comic ends. Ultimately, Superboy, Man of Tomorrow is a decent story. I don't think it endears newer readers to Connor, maybe the mystery of Connor Kent, because I don't think this comic really delves into his history. Older fans of Connor might just like the fact he's getting some attention, but I don't think it's going to endear this new direction is going to endear him to anyone who knew him before. Hard to say. Really, what should have happened is that Young Justice book should have come back. Should have just kept going with Tim, with Bart, with Cassie, and Connor. That really should have just happened. All right, but no, we didn't do that. So here we are. And there we are. That's our video here. So if you are new to the Bucket Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out some other videos, and I'll catch you all later. This is Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching as always. May your fandom serve you well, and fly.